Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Washington Capitals. The Oilers have an opportunity to take a grasp of first place in the Pacific Division. Last night, the Vegas Golden Knights lost in overtime to the St. Louis Blues. So Vegas is only 1 point up on Edmonton in first in the Pacific, and the Oilers have one game in hand. So if Edmonton wins tonight, they will leapfrog Vegas for first in the Pacific, and they're also within striking distance of first in the entire Western Conference, and also first in the entire league. Could also be up for grabs, but I don't want to look that too far ahead. Of course, there's that discourse surrounding the President's Trophy curse. At the end of the day, I want the Oilers to have home ice advantage throughout the playoffs, and the President's Trophy gives them the best opportunity to have that because, yes, you get home ice every single round, assuming you win each of your rounds. And of course, there's a ton of discourse surrounding Connor McDavid's suspension. He will not be in the lineup for the next 3 games for Edmonton. So this is an opportunity for Leon Draisaitl to add to the argument that he should be the front runner for the Hart Trophy. I expect a big game from him. My name is Austin. Welcome to the channel. And if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to smash the like button. And if you really like the pregame report, make sure to subscribe as we continue to produce a ton of amazing content here on YouTube. And we're growing an amazing community. We are well on our way to 4,500 subscribers. And I would love to hit 5,000 subscribers before the playoffs. That is the goal, 5,000 before the playoffs begin. Let's see if we can do it, Oil Country. You're the best fans in the world. I know you won't let us down. So, like I mentioned, the Oilers have an opportunity to get into first place in the Pacific Division with a win, but things are a lot more difficult because the Washington Capitals are one of the best, if not the best team in the entire NHL this season. They're getting goaltending, they're getting goal scoring, their special teams is great. All around, this is a good team. Right? This is their spot in the standings is justified. But can they sustain it even longer than they have? I was taking a look at their deeper analytics, and we'll talk about it during the game day predictions when I go over the stats for both teams. This is a team, the Washington Capitals that is, that I think could start to regress a little bit. Do I still think they're a good team? Yes. Do I still think that they could win the President's Trophy? Absolutely. And is it a team that I would be worried about playing in the Stanley Cup final if these two teams met? Of course, because Washington is great. Alex Ovechkin is rejuvenated. He's only 20 goals away, I believe, from tying the record, 21 away from defeating Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring record of 894 goals, and whenever Ovechkin plays in Edmonton, there's always a big buzz there. It's unfortunate that we don't get to see McDavid versus Ovechkin, but we do get to see Draisaitl versus Ovechkin. Ovechkin has his spot on the left circle where he one-times it, and Draisaitl has his spot. But honestly, the bottom of the right circle and kind of closer towards the goal line, his one-time position. It's going to be an absolute blast. If you're going to the game tonight, I hope you enjoy it. I think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be a lot of energy and motivation on the Oilers side. They're going to be rallying around Connor McDavid's suspension and hopefully get a big win. And with McDavid out, that means that there are going to be lineup changes. As of the recording of this video, the lineups that I'm about to talk about, these are not official. These are the lines that I would personally go with, and I will explain why. So for the top line, I would do Jeff Skinner with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. Now, why would I put Jeff Skinner, who has been a regular healthy scratch, with Leon Draisaitl on the top line? What has he done to deserve that, is what fans may ask. And that's a fair question. My argument here is if you are missing Connor McDavid, that takes a lot of scoring punch away from your top 6. Jeff Skinner, we know he's kind of a one-trick pony in terms of the style of his play, but he is a pure goal scorer, and they're going to need one in that top 6. No offense to Vasily Podkolzin, who plays amazing hockey, and I love his game, and him and Draisaitl work well together. But I think Draisaitl, because of how good his playmaking is, as well as his shooting, if he can find someone to get the puck to, and if Jeff Skinner can shoot it at a high volume and maybe pot 1 or 2, that's going to help this team a lot. And then, of course, Victor Arvidsson on the top line to continue to do what he does best, which is keep cycles alive, use his speed and transition game to help the team maintain possession. That is my logic here. That is the top line that I would like to see tonight. Now, you could also go Jeff Skinner with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. However, I put Podkolzin with Nugent-Hyman for a couple of reasons. One, Podkolzin and Hyman on the forecheck. The Oilers, they're a good cycle team. Those two players specifically will keep pucks alive and cycle and be very hard to play against along the boards. Nugent-Hopkins can be that defensively responsible, plays in the middle, looks for open lanes to get to, and maybe he can score a couple himself. But I don't want to play Jeff Skinner with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on on the same line because they are both a little undersized. They both don't have a ton of speed, and I just don't know if those two would work together. Obviously, they might, and if Chris Knoblauch, by the time the puck drops, he does play them together and they work out, that's great. But I'm just going over what my logic is, why I think Skinner should be with Draisaitl, and why I think Podkolzin and Nugent Hyman would be a better second line. Of course, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, who you think should be the top six for Edmonton with Connor McDavid out of the lineup here. Third line, Janmark, Henrique, and Brown will likely stay together because the coaching staff loves those three. At practice yesterday, before we knew that McDavid was being suspended, Jeff Skinner was on that third line with Henrique and Brown. So it looks like they were trying to switch things up. Wouldn't be surprised if they still switch things up. You may even have Kapanen on the third line and maybe Connor Brown on the fourth line. Connor Brown earlier this season, he had a look on that fourth line and he played well. He was producing in limited minutes. And for Kasperi Kapanen, I think he works better with someone like Henrique and Janmark rather than Brown up there. The third line, as it stands, as it looks on screen, it hasn't been working. Their advanced metrics are garbage. They're being scored against a ton, and they don't control the play when they're on the ice. So you do need to do something different, but in the meantime, this is what I would project. And then the fourth line, Corey Perry, Noah Philp, Kasperi Kapanen. Of course, not Corey Perry, Derek Ryan was placed on waivers. He cleared waivers. Whether he remains and gets a chance to stay in this lineup now that they are missing one of their best, if not the best center in the entire NHL, and Connor McDavid, that remains to be seen. I do project Derek Ryan to remain out of the lineup, though. Noah Philp is a really solid fourth line center right now for the team, and they're giving him a extended look in this position to see what they have before the trade deadline, to see if they need to upgrade there. On defense, we'll have Matthias Ekholm with Evan Bouchard. Now, Ekholm's game has been a little bit off lately. I don't think he's playing at a 100% capacity. I don't know if he's sick or injured. I do not speculate on this stuff. But there was a practice that he missed over the last week, and you can tell that his foot speed isn't there right now, so not sure what's going on with him. But him and Bouchard likely remain the number one pair. You'll have Nurse with Stetcher, Kulak with Emberson. Of course, Kulak does get some assignments with Darnell Nurse on the same defense pairing. And John Klingberg is the 7th D. He will not play tonight. Chris Knoblauch did mention that it will likely be about a week at minimum before Klingberg sees game action. I would expect that to be about 2 weeks, honestly. Klingberg's going to need some time to understand the Oilers system, get acclimated to his positioning, who he's going to play with, because they're going to want to make sure that he's ready to go. You can't risk further injury to a player coming off of the injury and surgeries that he's had. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that when Klingberg eventually gets into the lineup, that he will be able to play at a high level. Whether he's able to play at anywhere near the level that he did in the 2016 to 2019 years, that remains to be seen. So we'll see what happens with John Klingberg. I am excited to see him get some game time action, hopefully next week. And in goal, I do think Stuart Skinner will get the start. They're going to need him to be big tonight. They're going to need him to make stops and at minimum keep this game tied after the first period. The start in this game is pivotal for Edmonton, especially now that they don't have Connor McDavid in the lineup. Edmonton has to get out there, assert their game, and get on the scoreboard first. As much as I love Stuart Skinner, and I defend him all the time, if you follow me on Twitter or X.com, Blue Sky, if you've been watching the channel long enough, you'll know how much and the length that I go to defend Stuart Skinner all the time. I am one of the biggest Stuart Skinner defenders out there. But in saying that, this team gets behind early way too often. Way too often. And lately, it's been multiple goal deficits that they've had to climb out of. It's not always on the goaltenders, but if you want to be an elite starter, if you want to provide some confidence in the team in front of you and in the fan base and in the coaching staff and management, Stuart Skinner's got to be big tonight. He's got to come up huge in that first period, allow the team to get going and maybe get a lead here and play like he did in the last home game, which was against the Los Angeles Kings. Skinner made that huge save on the 2-on-1. I think it was on Kempe, and allowed the team to settle in. The Oilers kind of took over the game in the second and third. Stuart Skinner has to do that tonight. There's absolutely no excuse. He has to make big saves in the first period. They cannot afford to get down early, especially against Washington, one of the best defensive teams in the league and one of the best goal suppression teams in the entire NHL. In terms of the pre-game stats and predictions, the Washington Capitals, they are currently 31-10-5. They are first place in the entire NHL. They are 7-0-3 in their last 10 games. Yes, they have not lost a game in regulation in their last 10. Washington is an absolute wagon right now. Their expected goals for at 5-on-5, 51.25%, which ranks 9th in the league. Their power play ranks 10th at 23.5%. Their penalty kill ranks 3rd, 84.2%. Very good penalty kill for the Washington Capitals. Goals for per game ranks 2nd, 3.57 per game. Goals against ranks 2nd, 2.43 goals against per game. Their Corsi for ranks 16th at 49.93%. And their shots for percentage ranks 15th at 50.08%. For the Washington Capitals, they are getting timely goal scoring, timely saves. They are rocking a PDO of over 103 right now at 5-on-5. This team is going to regress at some point, whether it's within the next couple of weeks, whether it's closer towards the end of the season, maybe it's even the playoffs. This is a team that is riding a very high team shooting percentage. At 5-on-5, they're shooting over 11%. This team reminds me a lot of the Vancouver Canucks last season, where their team shooting percentage was very high. Team save percentage was also high PDO, and when push came to shove, they eventually kind of regressed. Now, they didn't totally regress, and they took the Oilers to 7 games in round 2 last year in the postseason. But Vancouver, what we're seeing this year, injuries have played a part, but there has been regression in the production of a lot of players on Vancouver. I don't know if we'll see that like right away for Washington, but that is a team that I'm not sure I would put a lot of money on for a Stanley Cup. And you can all come back to this video in June when Ovechkin's hoisting his 2nd cup, and he also broke the goal record in the same year, and it's just a historic year for Ovi. You can all come back to this video and laugh at me and be like, haha, you're wrong. I'm just putting out my opinion. I don't know if Washington is as legit as their record shows. It is still a very good team. They are an amazing team, and right now, all that matters is that they're winning, they're scoring goals, they're getting saves, they have some of the best goaltending in the entire league. Logan Thompson, it's incredible that he was left off that Team Canada 4 Nations roster, so if Edmonton can find a way to get a lead early and push the pace and play their style of game, I like their chances. But Washington, this is going to be one of the toughest games of the entire season. They are so good. For the Oilers, let's discuss their stats on the season. They are 29-14-3. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10. Expected goals for at 5-on-5 for the Oilers, 54.69%. Their power play ranks 7th at 24.6%. Their penalty kill has really dropped off lately. A combination of that was Josh Brown being in the lineup and also just not bearing down on the kill. It's down to 25th again, 75.2%. They are the seventh best offensive team, 3.28 goals per game. Goals against per game ranks 6th in the league, 2.74. Their Corsi for ranks 3rd, 53.92%, and their shots for percentage ranks 2nd, 54.79%. My players to watch, of course, Ovechkin and Draisaitl. I mentioned those two during the lineups. Ovi and Draisaitl, they have their specific spots on the ice they like to score from, especially on the power play. We'll see how many opportunities they get. I'm expecting an exciting game, but when it comes to my actual score prediction, I'm sorry, Oilers fans, you're going to be very disappointed in me, and you can hit the dislike button if you want. I'm going to say 4-3 Capitals in regulation. I just think without Connor McDavid and with how good Washington is defensively and how good their goaltending has been, I think the Oilers have a chance to win this game. Coming off the long road trip, first game back at home it's only been a week, but with how much travel they've had, it's not an excuse. There's no excuses in the NHL. I don't subscribe to any excuse out there. I understand the reasoning and logic, and historically, this is why I bring it up. Historically, when teams play their first game back at home after an extended trip or extended travel, they're usually slow out of the gate. If Stuart Skinner can lock things down and hold down the fort in the first period, I like Edmonton's chances of winning. However, because we've seen Skinner give up at least a couple goals in the first period over numerous starts lately, I don't have as much confidence. So I'm going to say Washington 4-3 in regulation. Let me know your score prediction in the comment section and also your player to watch. That is the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the Washington Capitals. I hope you enjoyed, whether you're a Caps fan, an Oilers fan, or a fan of another team. I truly appreciate all of your support. It means the world to me. I will not be doing a live stream tonight. However, you will get a post-game fan reaction after the game. I hope you're all doing well, Oil Country. Please tell someone that you love them before the game tonight. And as always, fight like a kid, fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers.